Who's ready to smell the roses, bro? And yes, they are that thorny, but you gotta lick it to taste it. That's some advice an old silver fox gave me in Bangkok when I was about 30. He said, life is like ice cream, my friends. You gotta lick it to taste it. And isn't that the motherfucking truth, bro? Not only do you have to stop and smell the roses, but you gotta put some skin in the game. That's how I think people stop. Actually, I know how people stop. They get into their brain, they do the quick calculations, and then they say, that's too much work. That's too much sauce. I can't do it. And that's one word I don't use, the C word. So if you're over here, this is the morning motivation. I'm Saints Addiction. Leg out, bro. Let's go. Getting the show on the road and getting hit by buses at the same time, bro. You can't stop me. Travel by Saints. So, it's one of those things that makes it real, you know? When you put a little skin in the game, right? When you actually say, I'm going to put some of my time, energy, and focus into something, then is the real time it gets the examination. I think what ends up happening, actually I know what ends up happening, is that people do the analysis of a situation, but they don't actually do any follow through or experiments with the data. So what will happen is they'll be like, let's say I want you to read the encyclopedias, right? Well, there used to be encyclopedias. Now we just doom scroll all day. But anyway, if I ask you to read a Bible, now that'll be too much religious connotation. That's not, I don't go there. I'm talking about like a thick book, War and Peace. And they go, God damn, man, I'd rather just do the quick synopsis. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I just wanted to just get the cliff notes, the cliff version of it. So in essence, you really didn't do the work, right? So you really don't get the prize. And there's always a prize, but there's always a price for the prize. And that's why I feel most human beings do the quick analysis. They run it in their brain and just like, how long is it gonna fucking take me to read War and Peace? You know what I mean? How long would it take me to plow through this thing? And our quick analysis, our inner voice, the one that doesn't really talk out loud, but the one we listen to the most, actually, we're the only one listening. It'll say, oh, that's a lot of motherfucking work, bro. I don't want to do that. And that's when you don't get the taste. That's when you don't get a taste of fresh dew off of a flower, off of a rose petal like I just did. So tasty. Or to get the smell, so beautiful. You're like, God made these amazing plants that are covered in thorns, bro. And my buddy's like, look at these thorns. And they're almost like an inch, I don't know, let's call it 1 centimeter, because I'm out here in Europe and that's how they talk. But, besides for, the centimeter of thorns, that's the work. Like, that's what I keep trying to explain to people. That's the work, you know what I'm saying? And you just don't want to do the work. It comes down to it, but it's true. I was watching it with your boy, posted on a meme or something like, you want to have millionaire accolades, but you don't want to do what millionaires do. My buddy told me, he's like, I don't know any millionaires that sleep in, Mark. And I'm like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, bro. And he's like, you sleep in? And I'm like, it's true. I do sleep in. I slept in today. But most of the time, I'm up before 8, 9 a.m., before the sun rises, and working until 3 a.m. because that's when the phone is ringing. So you can wave me, trade me, do whatever you want to do, but you still got to be willy, steaming, beaming. You still got to do the work. That's when you're familiar with the leads. I got 3,330 leads. If I let an automated agent do all the work and I think I'm a clever monkey, not only does my customer not bond to me, which is just a human customer, and I'm a human too, so you're going to need to bond with people, build rapport to get a sale, then they know they're dealing with a human being instead of a robot. And the worst part is, like, we go back to robot mode and we'll do this, how long have we been dating, how long is this bus ride? How much money is it going to cost me? Quick analysis is just what it is, Everything's the price is right. You go into the store and you're just like, gosh, man, that's an expensive grape. That's an expensive watermelon. Those are expensive kiwis. We do it constantly. So it's nothing to be judged. It's not like you're a bad person because you do quick analysis or anything like that. It's because we all have to do measurements in our head. We all got to go into life and say, is this worth the juice, worth the squeeze? And that's why it's motivatedjuice.com. You know, you got to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze, and that you keep putting in juice, that you keep putting in effort, time, energy, all those things. This is not easy, bro. And that's what separates the people that want things from the people that get things, you know? If you want it bad enough, your ass is already doing it, bro. Watch this looky-loo I got going on in my head right here. And you want it bad enough, guess what? That's what's going to happen. You know, you're going to go after it. I can't stop you from your chocolate. Look, I got traffic. I'm in the middle of Tikaroa. If you wanted chocolate, late night ice cream, late night sex, a couple drinks, all of a sudden you're up early. All of a sudden you got money. All of a sudden you got energy. And that's what I was like, okay, it's starting to dawn on me, you know? If it's something that I really, really, really want down deep inside, like my buddy David James said, a big enough W, bro, there is no reason to stop the season. There's going to be nothing that's going to stop you from doing what you want to do. And that's the whole point. You know, it's a situation inside yourself where you're going to be like, I gotta put some skin in the game. You know, I keep doing the calculations on the couch with my phone in my hand, but I'm not moving around. I'm not actually doing the squats. I'm thinking about the workout. You know, I'm not actually making the phone calls. I'm playing the video games. I'm actually doing the half-ass shit and acting like I didn't quit. It's like, you can't quit on life, bro. You got to give it the full Monty. You got to go outside. You got to feel the wind on your skin. You got to put your skin in the game. You got to lick it to taste it. And then you feel the real rewards. Then you get to feel the accomplishment of doing something, instead of somebody that went around in their head and was just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just thinking about it. Well, that's where they go to die. You know what I mean? That's what they say, you know what I mean? Comfort zones is where dreams go to die. And these guys are about to run into each other. But that's no lie, bro. If you want to be comfortable, then you're not licking it. You're not tasting it. You're not even in the game anymore. You're just parking it, basically. And that's the thing that we don't tell to ourselves. But it's something that we should tell to ourselves, because it's the truth. You should talk to yourself truthfully, honestly, completely, and then positively. That would be the nice part. So it's not being so hard on yourself, you know? Let's get the Cardia. Look at him. He's a fucking stunner, bro. Get in here, bro. It's my boy, Blue. You're my boy, Blue. You know, to just be able to say, hey, I put some skin in the game. I'm brave enough to wear big green baggy clothes, and I'm show off my belly even it has a scar, and rung what I brung. It is who I am. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that don't switch up. They don't code switch. They don't change because certain people are around. And when the game starts, they show up. That's what we want to see in our stars. That's what we want to see in our athletes. That's what we want to see in our actors. It's just like, boom, action. And they take action. They get into action, and they're not afraid of their own actions. So it's like one of these things that's really scary for us. It's just how powerful we are. You know, how powerful our thoughts are. How powerful are the words that we say to ourselves and the ones that we listen to inside. Bro, that's where it's all at. So let me get past. Don't want to get hit. We don't want to get hit here. You know? And that's what it was. It was one of the biggest switches of my life, not get hit, but to actually examine it, you know? Examine my own inner conversations. Am I listening to myself, or am I putting myself down? Am I actually taking action for the things that I'm saying, or are they just verbal vomit and I'm just spraying? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, I gotta hear myself. If I say I'm gonna do the push-ups, I gotta do the push-ups. If I say I'm gonna go to the gym, gotta do the gym. I'm not only impeccable with my word, but I'm impeccable with my word to myself. You know, I know when I say things and I want to get them done. You know, Intersect.ai, it's blowing up. And every time I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm working on this, my team's also working on this. So it's like triple the effect of people also are paying attention. Things are actually growing. My YouTube is blowing up, bro. I don't even know what to tell you. I haven't earned this much money on Google Ads ever. Like 10 years of doing this day after day, nobody watching. Then all of a sudden it was like 5 people are watching. Sirkan, what's up, brother? Nissel Sin. And it's one of those things, dude. I look at my life and I went like, okay, now I'm realizing a real life with real trees and real people and real breeze and fresh air. I love my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to scare people, but I do. I love my life that I could be in a foreign country and be able to travel around. Yeah, sure. I don't know where I'm going to sleep at night. Sometimes what are we going to eat? But all of a sudden I got plenty of friends that show up and they want to hang out with me. And then we go get some treats and some snacks and go meet his friends and go look at a different city. And then I'm licking it to taste it, bro. I'm in the game, and it's interactive. I can feel the breeze. I can feel the 10 difference in degrees. I can smell the air. I can still taste the rose petal, bro. So it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm so grateful to have an interactive life. I'm so grateful to have a life that interacts with me instead of me looking at other people living their dream, watching them on a screen, doing whatever they please. I want to be out there butt naked, please. I want to be out there naked, vulnerable, and alive. And then I know I can feel it without the drugs, without the alcohol. Both are drugs, without any poisons inside me. Oh, he shut it off. I was going past them, but yeah, this is an interactive show. Let's go. We're gonna get in here. You know what I mean? We're with the big guys, bro. You don't got a show, so it goes to show that you have to put a little bit of energy to get a lot of energy out of it. It's kind of like uranium, It's like we look for this je ne sais quoi, and we look for this special element on this planet that keeps giving more energy than it has inside of it. And that's what you are. You're a human being. You're better than a battery. You can be regenerated. You can be recycled. You know what I mean? And you can be imaginative. And that's what's so cool about energy. It's like once you start vibing on your energy instead of some kind of external thing, you get this like whole pickup. Yep. Hi. Look at this girl. She's a bright jacket. You get this whole pickup of a new source of energy, a new source of internal compassing. It's like you're on a different kind of drug. This is a drug that comes in from the inside, and they are drugs. I mean, well, they're chemicals. They're hormones, actually. They're oxytocin, feeling close to someone. You haven't been out with your friends, meet new friends, everybody's having a good conversation. That's oxytocin. Serotonin. It's such a lovely day. Sun on my skin. Everything feels good. I'm at peace, right? It's the antithesis of cortisol, which will make you feel stressed, anxiety, something's wrong. And then you go, no, if you don't feel that anything's wrong, then you wouldn't need any drugs to get yourself out of that cycle. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of these things that I take inside my heart very dearly, to be able to go out into my life and make it what I want it to be, instead of it happening to me. I happen to my life, and that's the skin I put in the game. Sure, I have my clothes and I should probably change them out. I'm here at the print shop, Pina Copa, represent baby. But it's also one of those things where sometimes I'm crashing on my buddy's couches. Sometimes I'm going to different cities. Sometimes I'm waking up in a different bed every day. But it's visceral to me. It's not like I'm in the same place every day doing the same fucking thing. There they are. I can see them in there, That would kill me. So, being repetitive kills me. Doing the same thing over and over kills me. And it kills my dream as well. So you can be the kind of person, we're right here for it. You can be the kind of person that always lets dread happen. And I remember you. I remember this girl. She didn't remember me, huh? And it's one of those things where I feel it more than I used to. I feel Pina Copa, represent baby. Get in the game, bro. Come get your prints. Print in an hour. So we're international, baby. But that's what it is. You're going to have to get inside your head and say, do I want to feel it for real? John Mayer said a thing that was pretty powerful, but when he was getting sober, he said, how much of his talent did he want to keep? And he said 100%. So it's like, if you want 100% of the best feelings, if you want 100% of the best food, if you want 100% of the best places in the world, then you're going to have to leave your comfort zone and boldly go where you haven't gone before. That's what it's like to lick it. That's what it's like to taste it. Everybody says, oh, I want some ice cream. Okay, well, are you willing to make it? You know what I mean? Like, pretty simple. Like, you could go get some strawberries, you could go get some milk, I'm sure you could get some cream and make your own ice cream. Are you willing to do that? No? Then otherwise it's just lip service, bro. And you're not going to get to taste it. You're probably going to ask somebody else to borrow some money. They're going to buy you the ice cream and you short-circuited it. But I promise you, the ice cream that you bought or made yourself tastes so much better than the one that's bought off the shelf. The one that came out of a package, out of a box, and you're just like, fuck, I'm stuck. Why am I always in the parking garage? Weird ass parking garage. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was just like, man, you know, I could complain. I'm like, oh, it's kind of rainy, it's kind of cold. But now I'm kind of awake and kind of alive, and it's such fresh air. That fresh rain smell, bro. So you got to leave your apartment where you're so comfortable and you got your blanket over you and the Netflix are chilling and the chips are flying and you're just like, yeah, I got my snack game on strong. I'm comfortable all day long, bikes on shirts, you know what I'm saying? And then you're just there having the experience that you curated for yourself, your comfortable curation. Everything's so perfect in my house, right? It's like a magazine. It's like a museum. Sure, why not? But what it isn't is it isn't alive. It isn't interactive. It isn't mysterious. It's not fun anymore because it's predictable. You literally created your own cage. Welcome to it. And they were like, what are you talking about, bro? Doesn't this look like prison? Look at this. They give you one little skinny ass window and tell you to find some shine. And it's like, nah, man, I want to get out of my mind. I want to get out of the zone of people telling me what to do, me not listening to myself, and me not having the button to switch myself on. And that's what it is. You want to be turned on, right? But you want somebody else to turn you on. You want someone else to make you feel. And I'm over here going like, I feel for real. You know, I come up here and I touch these trees. I smell the breeze, bro. I got shit in my beard too. It's all interactive. It's all real. And people are so afraid of making mistakes or looking weird to other people. Nice to see you. She just smiled at me too, you know? It takes that. And you got to put that vibe out in the game. I was listening to the other guy and they were like, sir, would you mind moving back? Apparently, you know, when you get in the airplane and you go ahead because there's no one in the plane, you give yourself more space from the other person. He's like, yeah, sure. As soon as we're in the air, I'll jump back. And she gets on the microphone, sir, can you move back? And he was like looking at him like, sir, back to your original seats, you know, kind of thing. And he was like, yeah, that's me. And he looked at it, he was just like, thank you for coming off with your energy. He was like, I like the way you came across with that. And she was like smiling at him. She's like, you get 3 pretzels. He's like, I can only eat 1. She's like, tell you what, go ahead, grab that seat. And that's what kind of energy I'm talking about. It was instead of being combative or wanting to butt heads with somebody, no, you just say, I'm bringing joy to you. You know, I'm bringing happiness to you. You know, I'm bringing a good vibe, bro. And that's what you want to do. You want to be the person that has it on the inside so that way you can give it to other people. Everybody's always like, I want to help people. I want to help people. Sure you do, but you need help yourself. And you're not helping anyone until you help yourself. If you're like the second victim in the water trying to fucking knock somebody out because you want to go swimming and get them, they're going to fist fight for their life. They're so scared. There might be 2 victims in the water. We don't want that. We want people to find it and shine from the inside. My friend just let me in on a cool song, and I never heard it before, but it's Alicia Myers, and it's like, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. Shine your light on me. Shine your light on me. And be able to sing, you know, I'm shining my light, bro. Sure, I'm singing in the rain, singing in the rain. Do 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 do. And it's that I get to bring my own joy to myself. I don't get to sit in my past and go like, oh man, that didn't work out. You know, I don't want to rest on my laurels and start thinking about regret. You know, I want to look forward and go, you know, I like waking up in the morning. I like you said, you know, most people don't give cred, but when you put your feet down and you're sober and you're not running to a bathroom and throwing up or shitting your pants, or maybe you already did shit your pants, or you feel so hungover that you start hating your life. Your vibe wakes up like, and I'm over here. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. Look how big this thing is. Shine your light, as big as my face, on me. Shine your light on me. Look at all the details in there. See? So if I don't go outside, then I don't look at the details. I don't get the smells. I don't get the endorphins that come also from moving around and creating that energy. I was listening to centurions. They're 100 years old plus, and they're talking advice they give for life, you know, how long they've made it. And it's like, you know, a lot of it's about family. A lot of it is about energy. You know, the one chick said, it sounds corny, but positive mentality, positive attitude, bro. And that's where we go, bro. You want to go from the inside. You want to grow that light, even on a cloudy day, right? You want to shine your light on me, shine your light on me, yeah. And even if people don't smile or say hello, it's not my job to get them to shine their light. It's my job to get me to shine my light and find it within me to make my life all right. And that's just what I'll do, bro. There's a saint right there for you. Boom, baby, boom. So it's been a blessing to be able to lick this thing called life and be able to taste her. And I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about amazing food and sights. I was sitting there looking up above in the sky, and I was, you know, looking up at the trees like this, you know, just like, oh man, the last time I was like this in the world, you know, like a fisheye lens looking up in the world, I was swimming naked in Mallorca in Spain. Look how picture perfect it is, you know, and I'm like, God, this world is so beautiful. You know, it's so round, and I kind of traveled in my mind all the places I went. Last night I was watching Machu Picchu and what did they call it? Vilca Bingabong? What did they call it? Sumabon? Anyway, you know, they called this mystical place in the hills where no one had been, and now 5,000, 7,000 people go daily. You know, what could you just, Hiram Bingham goes up into these clouds on a fucking donkey horse and sees Machu Picchu for the first time, and you're just like, this world's a trip. It hasn't been seen for over 400 years. That's older than America in 200 years. I mean, 200 years ahead, America was that old. And there was like, it was a forgotten city, bro. It was forgotten to all the people. They had forgotten that there was a castle in the sky. And you're like, you can't be serious. I'm like, yeah, no lie, bro. Climb that. And I forget, but it's like, when I got up to the top, I'm like, why haven't I launched all my websites? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why haven't I done anything else that I give myself excuses not to do? You know what I mean? And that's what you're going to do. You're going to give yourself an excuse of reasons why not to do something instead of trying it. Nothing beats a failure but a try. That's the experiment. Life is the experiment. The enjoyment of time and how far you can push it with your humanly body and your imaginative mind. And that's why it's so good to taste it. Oh, lick it to taste it, baby. Lick it to taste it. Life's like ice cream. You got to lick it to taste it. And it's such a beautiful life. Look how fluorescent. Oh my God. Shining your light on me. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father. I'm going to go smell some more roses. I'm so grateful that I'm here in the springtime, that the weather's just fine. I don't have to put on too many clothes. I'm not worried about it. Oh my God. Get outside, please. Leave your excuses behind. Just go for a random, bro. Just a random adventure, a random walk, a random talk. Get around some new friends. Just watch your life elevate. And they know it's scientific because now they're saying things like, if you had the food, like for some reason, food tastes better, bless you. Food tastes better with friends. You know what I mean? You know, it's one of those things where you're just like, you could eat alone, but the food be exactly the same, but the food wouldn't taste as good. It doesn't have the conversation with it. It doesn't have the smiling faces. It doesn't have all the experiments that call us life, and that's what we want to do. We don't want it to be perfect. It's perfectly imperfect, just like you, just like me. I'm trying to get out of this place if I can. I think I'm trapped, if you can see. But yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to be able to fucking see past our comfort zone past our fear, past our excuses, just like the guy that went past me in Machu Picchu with one leg. And I'm like, what's my excuse, bro? You know, I'm up here in Cusco under all these llama jackets, fucking breathing air. I've never seen my own air. Look at that perfect little, right here. Look, we got, oh, it's a heart. Oh, wait. Don't go. Give me that heart. Yeah, it's a heart. Shining your light on me. I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for shining your light on me. I'm gonna keep all my babies, goddamn. And that's what it was. It was just like, holy shit. Everything else was an excuse. If this person can climb this high with no oxygen in the top of the Andes, and he's just lapping me with a crutch and missing one leg, bro, what's your excuse? And I was like, got no more excuses. Started seeing the air. It was so cold in the room, I could see my own oxygen coming out of me, my own breath of my lungs. And I said, man, you're all the way up here in Machu Picchu. Why haven't you launched 100 of your domain names? What holds you back? And that's the question you have to ask. What holds you back? Is it just a little twinge of feeling uncomfortable around people? Maybe, you know, a lot of us do that. We'll get this one little feeling. Look, there's a chipmunk. Look at him. Do you see him? There's two. Do you see him? Look at him. There's two of them, bro. And look, there's another one climbing over there too, bro. It's crazy. I love it, bro. I love nature. I love doing fucking things unnatural or out of my comfort zone. I love doing anything that makes me free from my own mental instability or my own comfort zones or whatever else that I see. I want to be free like these chipmunks running around in this tree. So your choice is yours, and you get to make it all the time. But I'm telling you, getting past a little bit of fear, 10 seconds of bravery, and all of a sudden you're talking to a really beautiful woman and you're in an awesome conversation, or all of a sudden you said yes to an adventure that you didn't even know you would possibly go, and then you're in it. Waking up in different bedrooms, trying different food, having different conversations, listening to different music. Everything's more heightened. And that's what I wanted from drugs, you know? Whenever I was doing drugs, I was trying to celebrate. I was trying to get it up, you know? Helicopter, hot tub, hot girls, you know, all the same time. Just like top. And now it's like, feel the leaves, you know? Feel the leaves, you know? Smell the air. You know what I mean? Like, feel. Actually feel, not to be afraid of my feelings. That part, I don't have to numb them anymore. I don't have to run from them. I get to feel them inside my chest and go, blessed. And that's what I wanted people to have. I wanted them to have that blessed feeling that I get in my life when I'm sitting in the park all day and just letting the trees and the breeze come over me. That's what I want you to have. I want you to have the blessings. And that's what life is. Life is a blessing as long as you're not stressing and making shit not a reality. You know what I mean? And that's what we're going to be. We're going to be scot-free, bro. Look at me, 10 yards ahead of the crosswalk. But it's still the crosswalk, bro. You know, you're welcome. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going no matter what. We're going to keep it pushing no matter the judge or our perceived judgments, you know? That's another thing that stops us, is worrying about what other people think. You need to be worried about how you think, how you're talking to yourself, the vibe you're giving off. That's the most important part. So that's this morning's Marijuana Motivation. You already know, Gangsta Nation. It's your boy Marky Saint, living that high life. And I feel all right. I feel great. I feel alive. And that's all I can ask from life. You know, I asked to be here during the summertime, summertime in Finland, when it's the best part of the weather on the planet, the cleanest air, the cleanest water. And I told my friend I had an astonishing thought, but I'm building a life that I'm around the world's lungs. That's right, Brazil and the Amazon, the world's lungs. Thailand, Indochina, Indonesia, the world's lungs. All these places have the world's largest rainforest. And Finland has the largest forest. So it's about more people than you can count, or more trees than people, and more trees than you can count. And I just stay away, I stay near all the freshest of air. you know, all the way at the top of the Andes, freshest of air, the best sunshine, the best feelings, you know, without trying to manipulate them outside of myself or synthetically or through some form of addiction that I would do. So it's a blessing. I love my life. Let me see if I caught anybody. Look at them. Look, I caught a few people, maybe a couple of workers, but I want you to love your life too. So go be free. You already know. Your boy Marky Saints Addiction. I'm out. Peace and love. And as always, Chigaton. That means goodbye, but not forever in Phoenix. And I will see you on the other side. As soon as you like, share, subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be. Peace. Thanks for watching.